We're all looking for it, aren't we? Real, lasting happiness. We pray for it, we chase after it, but so often it feels like it just slips through our fingers. So why is that? In this explainer, we're going to dive into the ancient wisdom of the Gita to really understand the mechanics of joy and uncover a path to true, lasting fulfillment.
I mean, it's a question we've all probably asked ourselves. You pray for something with every fiber of your being, a new job or relationship, you name it. And maybe you even get it. But that incredible feeling of joy, it just fades, doesn't it? The satisfaction is temporary. So what's going on?
Well, the Gita suggests that our experience of life isn't random at all. It's actually guided by a kind of internal operating system. And our whole search for happiness is shaped by two really powerful, distinct forces that are always at work inside us. Let's break down what they are.
Okay, so the first of these forces acts just like our own personal inner compass. The Gita talks about this as the power of our preferences.
So what are preferences? Really, it's just the sum total of everything we like and dislike, all the things we've gathered throughout our lives. This internal programming is what decides what we want, what we find desirable, and ultimately what we end up chasing after.
And you know, there's a really direct chain reaction here. It all starts with our basic likes and dislikes. Those feelings form our desires. Those desires then start to shape our goals, both the small stuff and the big life plans. And finally, our goals dictate where we pour all our energy and what we pray for. It's a straight line from a feeling deep inside to an action out in the world.
But our preferences are really only half the story. There's another huge force at play, and this is what we call our impressions. You can think of this as, well, like the echo of our past.
So these impressions, they're basically our karmic balance sheet. It's the grand total of every good and bad action we've ever taken. And this balance, it doesn't just disappear. It actively shapes the circumstances we find ourselves in right now and plays a huge role in whether our prayers get answered.
It's pretty straightforward, really. Our good actions tip the scales and bring about positive circumstances, favorable outcomes. And our bad actions, well, they do the opposite, creating challenges. The idea is that when we pray, this balance of our past deeds is taken into account, shaping the situations we face as a way to guide us.
Okay, so let's just imagine for a second that the stars align. Your preferences are clear, your impressions are positive, and you get exactly what you prayed for. That should be it, right? The secret recipe for happiness? Well, not so fast. This is where the whole story takes a really crucial turn.
Because it turns out there's a third absolutely critical element. This piece doesn't determine if we get what we want, but it determines whether the happiness we get from it will actually last. And this missing piece is the power of knowledge.
To really get our heads around this, let's use a super simple analogy. Just think about this for a second. If you were to offer two different things to a small child, which one do you think they would choose?
The child almost 100% of the time is going to grab the chocolate. And why? Because it represents what's immediately desirable. It's a quick, easy sensory pleasure. The currency note, on the other hand, represents what is truly good. It has so much more potential value. I mean, enough to buy a whole box of chocolates. But the child just lacks the knowledge to understand that. And that is the absolute key. Without knowledge, our preferences will always guide us toward the chocolate, the temporary pleasures of life. But with knowledge, we can see beyond that immediate gratification. It lets us choose what is truly good for our long-term well-being, and that is what leads to a happiness that doesn't just fade away.
So this brings us to the real heart of the matter. It exposes a fundamental mistake that so many of us make, a mistake that traps us in this cycle of temporary satisfaction. And it all comes down to one question. Do we see God as a means or as a destination? I mean, just think about how most prayers work. We ask God for something, right? A promotion, a new house, a victory for our team. When we do that, we're actually treating God as a means, like a vehicle to get us to a destination that our preferences have picked out. And this creates what we can call the cycle of insufficiency. It's a loop. We use God as a means to get to our destination. We get there, and for a little while, it feels great. But soon enough, that feeling fades and we start to feel insufficient all over again. So what do? We pick a new destination, and we start the whole process over. It's a hamster wheel that never leads to lasting peace. So how do we break this cycle? It's not about praying for better things or praying harder. The solution offered in the Gita is so much deeper. It's a profound, fundamental shift in our entire perspective.
And this right here is the ultimate takeaway. This endless search for temporary fulfillment, it will just keep going and going until we have that light bulb moment, until we realize that God isn't the means to get somewhere else. God is the destination. The goal isn't what God can give us, but God Himself. And that is the path to a happiness that truly lasts.
And so, that leaves us with one final big question to think about. As you move through your own life, are you chasing a series of destinations, these external goals that give you a fleeting sense of satisfaction? Or are you seeking a presence, an internal connection that offers true, unshakable, lasting fulfillment? The answer to that? Well, it might just change everything.